Hi there. So, this is podcast number 3. This is recorded on the 20th of November. Last podcast was November 1st, so it's actually been a hot minute. But we're glad to have some engineers back on the podcast for once. Today we have Alex and Justin. Say hello, guys.
Hi.
What's up?
If you hear a little bit of feedback, it's because they're also in the same room as me. It's a very complicated situation, trust me.
Calm situation?
Complicated situation. Go ahead and tell them about yourselves.
I'm Alex, and I'm a senior at Olathe Northwest. And yeah, and I'm probably going to KU next year.
That's great.
Kansas University.
Yeah. And you're on build team, right?
Yeah, I'm on build team.
Build team. And there's Justin.
I'm Justin. I'm also a senior. I'm not sure where I'm gonna go to college. We'll see.
Yeah, he'll figure it out.
You don't have to go to college either.
No, I'm gonna go to college, but
Yeah, he'll figure it out. Anywhoozin. So, tell people what you've been working on.
Well, today we are working on the motor, frames. The motor and the wheel are going to be in these things.
Why don't you describe it visually to them? What does it look like?
It's like a clear piece of Lexan with a whole bunch of holes in it, and then there's little standoffs and what are these called? Hex shafts.
Okay.
That are just going to be connecting two pieces.
All right.
And then
All right, stop. I'm going to go in the hallway just so there's absolutely no audio feedback or. All right, so I'm out here now. You guys can still hear me, right?
hello.
You can hear me still, can't you?
Yeah.
oh,
Uh-oh. Where'd you go? Okay.
Could you speak up into the mic a little more? I can hardly hear you.
yeah.
Yes.
So you've been working on those two little plates there. What else have you done?
Prototyping flywheels, a flicker, and a single flywheel.
So go ahead and describe that.
It's basically two wheels with a motor attached, and then there's a little space for the ring to go through, and it swings the ring.
All right, that's cool.
The wheels are in opposite directions, so it goes for.
I think I'm going to come back because this audio is kind of rough. We have adjusted ourselves, so now hopefully we're closer. Hopefully they'll hear us, and there's no reverberations with the audio. So, double flywheel. Tell us more.
Basically we already explained it, but there's two wheels, two motors. The wheels are spinning in opposite directions, and once you put a ring in there, it'll shoot it, bam,
Really?
in between the wheels.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're launching rings. I think I've said that earlier in one of our other podcasts, but we've really made some big steps into completing that. We have our instructor here, Mr. Hernandez. He's been working pretty hard managing both classes at AM and PM. So let's give a big shout out to him.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr.
Okay.
Hernandez.
Mr. Hernandez. Okay. So, anyway, how has your experience in hybrid been? What's it like?
I kind of hate it.
Oh,
It's our senior year, and I feel like if the school board was actually listening to the people with the good ideas, we would actually have a better schedule to where
elaborate, please.
The best schedule that I could think of is the Blue Valley one, where they have kids last name A through K go 1 week, while the other kids N through Z or whatever,
Yeah.
they stay at home and do virtual for that week, and they just switch off every week.
Yeah. So would that be that would be all classes? It wouldn't be a block day.
Well, you still have your block days on Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, we have some rummaging through some packages because we have more than a few things we need to sort out here. In
We're
fact,
looking for things.
we are looking for things. Justin says, very true. But yeah, that's actually an interesting thought. We could do that. Justin, your thoughts?
I really like hybrid.
Yeah.
I like having just the basically half day of school, show up at 7:45, leave at 11.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that sort of also gives us a taste of what college could sort of be like, because you don't have all of your classes in a row, like 8 to 3. You have kind of separated out throughout your day. And it's really nice to come back and be in person.
Mm-hmm. So you like the shorter days then?
Mhm.
Going home at 11:45?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shorter days and the shorter classes.
Yeah, us kids A through L, we have the luxury of going home early, whereas the PM kids, which I guess would be M through Z, would they kind of have the luxury of sleeping late, and then it kind of ends around 3 o'clock like a normal school day. But yeah. So anything you find interesting, just to like about the build environment?
The build environment.
Yeah.
I think it's hard because our builders are split up. There's 2 in the morning and there's 2 in the afternoon. So when we were prototyping, we were all doing different things. Like in the morning, we were doing double flywheels and just prototyping sensors, I guess. And then in the afternoon, they were doing like single flywheels and a flicker. And we didn't really communicate a whole lot well, I guess. We could have communicated more.
Okay. So describe like some of the advantages of using different like launch systems like Flywheel or Flickr, because I'm not so sure that they know what
It
that
just
actually
depends
is.
on how well we want our ring to like the accuracy, or like how far we want to shoot it from,
Yeah.
or like how much room it'll take up on our robot, because the double flywheels definitely take up a lot of room.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good because it has like those 2 wheels that give it a lot of power. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Versus like Flickr, for instance, you kind of see where I'm going with this. Versus like Flickr, Flickr does X, Y, and Z. It's like it's a lot. How would you say it's a lot easier to like develop because it's like not as much motor power. You just kind of like let the thing go and it flicks the wheel or the disc.
Yeah, I'd say our flicker probably has more power than the double flywheel,
Mm-hmm.
just because we have a really powerful motor on there.
Mm-hmm. And we flick it with Lexan, right? Which is
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's like this, Justin. It's like this
It's a-
piece of glass, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it's a pretty flexible, just like plastic material, but you can just buy in a sheet and you can cut out whatever you need.
Yeah, we use that for a lot of stuff, don't we?
It's very useful.
Yeah, incredibly useful. Anyway, so tell them. So right now you're working on those. What did you call those? These things over here.
I would just call them like our motor frames for right now, because our wheel and our motors are going to be in them.
Motor frames. Okay.
Motor frames.
So how many motors are we looking at right now between like all the launch mechanisms and the wheels?
It depends on what shooter we want. If we want a double flywheel or a flicker or single, but around 5 to 6.
Around 5 to 6.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
so
4 motors for the 4
4
wheels,
wheels.
and then 1 or 2 for the shooter.
Yeah. How much does that set you back?
How much does that set us back?
Yeah, like you guys are crunched on like resources a lot. I suspect. So you guys kind of like manage a lot of that stuff, don't you?
Our biggest setback is not getting our parts
Our parts.
to start building
Yeah.
stuff.
Explain that process a little bit.
So basically right now our whole entire build season has been prototyping, and we have not started on the robot at all, except for today.
Yeah, and we're coming up on some deadlines, aren't we? What's
Yeah.
the deadline for like Tuesday, the 24th?
Yup.
Yep. Tuesday, November 24th.
Yeah. Deadline. What's the goal we want to reach by then?
Have a robot.
Have a
We
robot.
want to have a pretty basic robot.
How close are
completed.
we to that goal?
Not very.
Not very close.
Not at all.
A percentage,
A
Justin.
percentage?
Give me a
1%.
No, not
1%.
1%. Maybe
All right.
like 5%.
Okay, a little more optimism. But so
No.
what do other team members kind of what? All right, so we talked about build. What as a group, as a team, because teamwork is really important. What as a team do we really need to accomplish to maybe make those 5% a 6%, or dare I even say 7%? Like how do we really go out there?
Well, this year was a lot different than
Yeah.
other years because we didn't really know how to start, like even begin, because we didn't know if we were going to be in person or like stay at home this whole year. So
Yeah.
once we ordered the parts, it was already kind of really late. But what people can do is once we get the parts, they can just jump in on the build team because I'm sure we'll have tons of like sub assemblies for them to do and like
Mhm.
X rails, turrets, shooters. It'll be a lot.
So like programming, for instance, was working today on like their odometry. Does that give you like relief at all that like they're working on those big steps, those big strides?
Well, they've always been making big strides because
That's true.
they haven't had to wait on
Nathan
anything.
and Joseph are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good workers.
They're crazy when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like we don't have a robot for them. They just grab one from the back and they're already.
Yeah, and we're the only team competing this year. Is that true?
Out of our whole school,
Right.
yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have more than enough excess stuff that we can kind of just do with what we want.
Mhm.
But yeah, so there's programming, there's build, of course, which you guys are on. I've had Nathan from programming on. There's managers, one for like kind of like media and outreach, which are also sub teams. And then one that heads design, programming, and build. And design is one also I didn't mention. But they kind of plan out the robot. Is that true?
Design, they basically put together and they also create their own parts. Just parts that they think would work well for what we need the robot to do, and they put it all together in a model and we build what the model is, what the model shows us.
Our designs have been really good this year. But one of our best designs has come from Blake, the lead engineer.
Yeah, the lead engineer. Awesome. So what in your opinion is the best sub team to be? And of course, you guys probably experienced a little bit of bias here.
I was on programming last year.
Okay.
And you did not like it.
So why did you want to be on? So you didn't like it. So is that why you wanted to be on build this year?
Well, no, I didn't. I wanted to be on build because I didn't want to deal with any management stuff, which there's still some stuff that you still have to manage, but there's no way I could do programming because Joseph.
Programming this year.
Yeah.
Programming this year. Programming last year was fine.
Okay.
But programming this year, they're using just Java, which
Java.
I don't really
Understand.
I mean, I understand it, but I'm not nearly as fluent as them in those areas.
So you like build much better then?
I think it's good for this year.
You think it's good?
A good fit for me, yeah.
All right, Alex. So do you think build's the best sub team, and if so, why?
I think so, yes, because it's the most fun.
It's the most fun. I could see that.
Yeah. It's not like tedious work on like programming and reprogramming or like outreach like what Maddie does, where you have to like reach out to people and talk to them. I'm not a person for that. And then like the lead engineering, I don't know. I think build is definitely the funnest because
The funnest.
yes.
All right. Yeah, I could see that. It's like, you're always working. It's always hands-on work. The difficulties for me, at least from like, I was on design last year, and as a spectator kind of a build, I guess is what you would maybe call me. being a designer and all. I would say the biggest complaints they had with me and my sub team was that we never gave them a whole lot of direction, so they kind of had to go off in their own separate ways.
Oh.
Which is fair. Do you kind of experience that? Do you think
No, Blake has been pretty good this year on giving us directions. Other designers, I haven't really seen them, but I'm sure they're doing great things.
you have seen the designs or you haven't seen the designers because of quarantine? Both. Yeah, we've had some rough patches here with quarantine. But speaking of Maddie on outreach, we were lucky this week. She scheduled shout out to Maddie. She scheduled some engineers to come in and give us a design review of our bot. That was really awesome. Let's give a round of applause to Maddie.
Yeah, okay.
Justin, come in here. We're going to do a round of applause. Yeah. All right.
I think the designer's review was really important. I think we needed it.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really have a direction for our shooter, but I liked the more clarification that our designers got on their designs, and just like them telling us that simple is better. I think put the designers in our right direction that they needed to go.
We've had a lot to talk about, like the design review for one, because the last podcast we recorded was in November 1st, and now we're well over halfway, into the month at this point. So, what are some crazy things that's happened in the month of November, guys? Pertaining to like this year, or not this year, but like this team, this school year.
You know what? It hasn't been a very crazy November, because
Not very eventful. No.
Yeah, well, it's been eventful outside of school, but inside school, it hasn't been really eventful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, there was an election, and then we're not going to go back into school. I'm really not happy with the fact that we have to go back to remote. It's going to make it a lot harder on our parts.
Yeah, remote. It just felt like days were kind of coming together, and they were all the same. Like it felt like you were just doing the same day every single day over and over.
Because you only got half the day. You can only get so much done, so it feels like you're doing like a lot
No.
of
Like
repetition.
doing remote.
Remote.
Yeah, it was like wake up, do your schoolwork, then do homework,
Yes.
and then go to bed, do the same thing.
Yeah, go to bed. Yeah, and with that, we had full days. Like it would go from 7:45 to 3 o'clock.
And
an hour and a half long classes of
95 minutes.
Screen.
And if you're in 6 AP classes, those AP classes give at least an hour of homework. So that's 6 hours of homework. So that's 13 hours of school a day.
Any closing points?
I love school.
Love school.
In-person school is so much better than online.
TTYLXOX.
Yeah, it's we have Thanksgiving break coming up. This is a Friday for us, so it's today is an even day, which means this is actually a day where we have engineering as a class, and then when we come back Monday, we won't have engineering. We'll have odd days, which is different classes than the one we have today because it alternates with the schedule. And then Tuesday is our last actual in-class day here until break, and then we don't know when we're going to come back after that, if ever.
I think we're still able to come in here after school, so that'll be good.
Yeah,
just for us to get work done.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you ever think we'll ever be back in school?
Yeah. I would just stay optimistic.
Stay optimistic.
Probably will.
Justin, think I'll ever be back in school? Like come back, whether it be in hybrid or full classes, that'd be something. Or will we just stay in remote for the rest of the year? How's it looking in your little in your little viewfinder?
In my eyes, it's looking like we should be able to come back at some point next semester, but we'll have to see everything that happens, and if the cases come back down, then we'll be able to come back, and hopefully we'll be able to do full classes again.
Yeah, Kansas, man, we got hit hard with these cases. But at this point, probably won't go on any longer. Thank you guys for coming out, and see you next time on the podcast. Bye.
Goodbye.